In this video, I'm going to be ranking all the movies that I watched in 2022. Go check out part 1 where I ranked all the shows I watched. Now let's get on with the video. Alright, welcome to the second half of this video where I'm going to be ranking the movies I watched in 2022. Now, I definitely prefer watching TV shows just because I think I get more time with the story and more screen time, just hours and hours of episodes versus a movie that's only 2-3 hours and then that's it. But I did watch a lot of movies this year. I mean, let's do some quick math. 14 times 4 is 56 plus 6, so 62 movies is pretty crazy. That's average 5 a month. Now, I'm definitely different rating movies than I am TV shows, because when I do show reactions, I just react to the show, that's it. But when I do movie reactions, I kind of analyze it more and then I rate it at the end of the video. You can see all my movie ratings on my Letterboxd. You can go check that out. But I think I'm not going to focus on those numbers for this. I'm just going to focus on what I remember from the movie itself. But the first movie that I watched in 2022 is Don't Look Up. I heard a lot of people talking about it, and I think I saw a couple clips
Fingerling potatoes?
Yeah, I fucking love fingerling potatoes.
And some other points in the movie, so I was just interested in watching it. I think that's the first and only thing I've seen Timothée Chalamet in. But I really enjoyed this movie, and I was not expecting the ending. They were warning about it the entire time, and then it actually happened, everyone... Yeah, I really enjoy it. I would rewatch. Had some funny moments. I think a bird just flew by. Next is X-Men Apocalypse. Now, comparing it to its previous film, X-Men and Days of Future Past, it definitely was not on the same level, but I did enjoy it. Except the scene where Charles goes bald. Sorry. Flashbacks. But honestly, I really did enjoy it, and we got introduced to some more characters, some new/old characters, new to the prequel films, but we know them from the original X-Men films, like Storm, Jean Grey, Cyclops, and we also had the iconic Sweet Dreams scene. After watching the movie, I listened to Sweet Dreams a ton. I'm pretty sure it made it to my top 100 on Spotify for 2022. Number 35 on my top songs of 2022. I think when I rated it, I gave it a 3 or 3.5 out of 5. I would rewatch it. I forgot to say the tears for this. It's been 2 days since I filmed the last video. But the tears are similar to the ones I have for shows. I would sell my soul to watch this movie for the first time. Below that, would rewatch. Below that, I like it, but it's not my favorite. Basically, it's okay. Probably wouldn't rewatch, though. Means I didn't like it. No means I will never watch this again. You could not pay me enough money to watch this again. Alright, next we have Red Notice. Sometimes I just watch movies that are on Netflix, so I was curious about it. Was that? No. Was that the first movie? No. I think that was the first movie I watched with Ryan Reynolds. Because this was January. I didn't watch Deadpool until April. Didn't watch The Adam Project till that came out, which was later. Free Guy until later in the year. Oh my goodness. Wow, okay. Red Notice was interesting, had some funny moments, and then there was the plot twist I wasn't expecting. I'm gonna put it in, I like it, but it's not my favorite. It's getting a sequel, right? There's a third one? Did I say that a little bit too loud? Next we have Tick, Tick, Boom. Now, I'm not a theater person. I couldn't really tell you anything about theater. Very popular shows, musicals I've never seen, but I've probably heard about and know the tiniest bit amount. Tick, Tick, Boom stars Andrew Garfield as Jonathan Larson, who created Rent. I've never seen, but I love Andrew Garfield, so I was interested in watching the movie. The lighting I think the lighting's fine. I wanted to see it when it came out at the end of 2021, but then just, time flies by. but I kept seeing people like praising his performance. I was like, okay, I have to watch. So I did, absolutely loved it. And there were 3 songs that were stuck in my head for a lot of 2022. Let's see if they're on my top songs for Spotify. We're looking for 3090, Boho Days, and Therapy. Number 7 on my top songs for 2022, we have 3090, Makes Sense. Number 27, we have Therapy. Number 54, we have Boho Days. So all 3 made it onto my top songs. I really enjoyed this movie, and I knew nothing like about Jonathan Larson beforehand, so it was very interesting going into this like with nearly no knowledge of anything, the characters, you know? And since watching has made me want to explore like musicals and theater. We're putting it would rewatch, but there was a bit of a debate there. Next we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I remember when it came out, end of 2018, people in school were talking about it, and I was not into Marvel then, or, you know, anything then. It would be like 7 more months until I started my Marvel phase, which has not ended yet. But I was always curious about it because I had heard nothing besides good things about it. So earlier in 2022, I reacted to it. You can go check out that video on my channel. And I really enjoyed it. Just like, you know, the story and the art style is just so beautiful. I love it. And in just a few months, I think we're getting Across the Spider-Verse. June 2nd. Okay, less than 5 months away. But there were lots of twists and turns, and the cast was amazing. I would sell my soul to watch this movie for the first time. I really would. After this next movie, the movies are going to be out of order of when I watch them, but it's fine. It's not like I put them in order on purpose, but then it messed it up. No. Next one is The Social Network. For months, I'd been seeing some clips of the movie, hearing some audios like the "Sorry, my Prada's at the cleaners, along with my hoodie and my fuck you flip-flops, you pretentious douchebag." And then the 30%.
You better lawyer up, asshole, because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
I'm not coming back for 30%, I'm coming back for everything. I was trying to remember the whole thing, but I can't right now. But, you know, it had those moments, and it was a very interesting movie to watch as someone who's used Facebook for a total of like 6 minutes in her life. I'd never seen Jesse Eisenberg act in anything before, but I think he did really good in The Social Network, and so did Andrew Garfield. I think he's the reason that I heard about the movie in the first place. I would rewatch this movie. It was really good. But Justin Timberlake in it just feels so random. Because when I think Justin Timberlake acting, I think Trolls. Next we have Batman Begins. I like this movie a lot more than I thought I would. Not that I heard anything bad about it before, I just, for like a origin story, you know, I feel like I don't always vibe with them, but I really, really liked it. I'm putting Batman Begins in would rewatch. Following Batman Begins is one of the most popular movies, one of the top rated movies, number 3 or 4 on IMDb, The Dark Knight. I've heard about this movie for years, heard nothing but good things, especially Heath Ledger's performance in it. I had been wanting to watch the movie, like react to it, since like March last year, but I decided to wait because I had other things planned. But then when I got time to filming, I got really scared to do my reaction for it, and for good reason. But I did really like the movie. I had seen some scenes before, so I kind of knew what I was getting into, but also not really. The wrong movie. The stuff with Two-Face I wasn't expecting. I don't think I was expecting him to be in the trilogy at all, because I never heard anything, and I just never thought about it. Jim Gordon, the thing that happened, I was like, are you kidding me? No, it didn't. And I was right, it didn't. But I was starting to believe it did. I would sell my soul to watch this movie for the first time, like just to relive everything. Although, I'm not sure I want to go through that heartbreak. The temporary heartbreak. Next we have It. I remember when this movie came out, I think I was in 7th grade, and people were talking about watching it all the time, and I was just in my own little bubble. I don't think I really ever went to the movies, and I definitely would not have watched a rated R movie. I don't think I would have been able to handle it. My little 12-year-old heart. I remember like that year for Halloween, walking around for Halloween, and then in someone's window seeing Pennywise. That was pretty scary. But I just watched it a few months ago for spooky season, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And for many years now, I've been wanting to get the book to read, but I don't want to anymore. I've heard some things about it, and I just don't want to read the book anymore. But I do want to watch the second movie at some point this year. I'm putting it in would rewatch. Would I? Actually, I'm not really a scary movie person. Okay, I'm putting it in I like it, it's not my favorite. I probably wouldn't rewatch it just because scary. Next up is Black Adam. I actually really enjoyed watching this. I didn't know that Dr. Fate would be in it, despite watching the trailer and just seeing like the poster before going to see the movie. I just didn't think about it. I love the magical DC characters. You know, Raven, my love. I got something to show you guys. I bought some posters. So this one, Raven, my favorite DC character, superhero ever. My favorite superhero ever. I said it. And then also Nightwing. Not a magic user, but you know, still had to bring him out. Yeah, but Raven, Zatanna, Constantine, Dr. Fate, I just am so interested in like that aspect, that group of superheroes. That's why I really like Justice League Dark, because it like focuses more on that. Alright, I'm gonna put these back. But yeah, I did enjoy Black Adam. Plot-wise, I don't think I was really following along. It was more like the characters. And they really didn't do anything with Atom Smasher. Like, I thought he was gonna have a bigger role. I loved Cyclone. I don't really remember much else about the movie. I like it, but it's not my favorite. Now going back to the topic of horror movies, Scream. A classic that I did not watch until just a few months ago. Now I did know some spoilers, like who Ghostface was, so that took out the surprise element for me, but I did really enjoy it, and seeing Drew Barrymore's character killed in the first, and like that opening scene with Drew Barrymore, crazy. Despite being a horror movie, it was more like a thriller, so I enjoyed it more because I wasn't being jump scared always. But I wasn't expecting like all those deaths, like certain ones. I'm not gonna say. They were crazy. Courtney Cox, love her. Forgot that she was in the Scream movies. I will watch the others at some point. Don't know when. I don't really know anything about 2, 3, 4. I kind of do, but not really. And then Scream 5. I know who Ghostface is because it was very popular when it came out. And then Scream 6 is coming out in March, I believe. Maybe I'll watch that in theaters. We'll see. But Scream, I absolutely loved, and I would sell my soul to watch this for the first time. If I could erase all my knowledge about the movie, like the spoilers I knew beforehand, and rewatch it, that would be amazing. Next we have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. The first few minutes of this movie almost made me cry. I didn't cry, but I almost did. Why am I starting to cry now, just thinking about it? And then the Marvel intro that they did for it was just so beautiful. But the movie, I really enjoyed. And I don't think I watched the trailer. I didn't watch the trailer for it because when you watch trailers, like a lot gets revealed. So I've like not really been watching trailers lately for some things. So I was actually going into it like pretty, you know. I don't know, but I think that's like the first Marvel movie I watched in a long time that I didn't know any spoilers for. Speaking of, for Black Adam, the post-credit scene, I did get spoiled about that before watching, so that sucked. Especially what's now happening with that. But back to Wakanda Forever. I loved Ironheart in it, and now I'm really excited to watch that series whenever it comes out. And I just really liked the movie. It did feel kind of long though. But to be fair, all I get when I go to the movies is a bottle of water, just so I don't get dehydrated. I don't want to eat during it because I don't want to miss anything. Oh, my camera's about to stop recording. I'd like seeing more Nakia. I feel like, I mean, I haven't watched the 2018 Black Panther in a while, but it was nice to see more of her. And the ending was, like, I swear the movie just wanted me to cry. The beginning, middle, and end. But I would rewatch, definitely. Supermassive Black Hole just started playing in my head. Twilight. Regarding the plot, I know just a few things overall in Twilight. I've mostly seen like behind the scenes stuff and yeah, some scenes. Watching Twilight for the first time was an experience. I'm glad it is on camera because I wouldn't want it any other way. It was it's just, I can't even put it into words. But I really do want to read the books now. I think people said that the books and movies aren't that similar. So I'm gonna see what the books were like and what went wrong. Would rewatch. I almost put it up here, but no. Imagine putting Twilight on the same level as The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight could never. I'm kidding. A couple months ago, I rewatched Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone / Philosopher's Stone, whatever you want to call it, because it had been 2 years since I posted my watching all the Harry Potter movies for the first time video that I would like to forget. So don't watch it. Yeah, I haven't rewatched that video, but I don't want to. I will at some point in my life, possibly, but not soon. But this year I want to continue rewatching the rest of the movies and then watch The Fantastic Beasts. But Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is such a classic, iconic movie. Harry Potter wasn't really in my time. You know, the movies came out 2001 to 11. I was born when Goblet of Fire came out, so I wouldn't have been able to read the books until much later in my life. And I only started like last year. But for years, my friends around me have been telling me about Harry Potter, and I thought I was so cool being like, I'm not gonna watch Harry Potter, ever. And then I caved, and changed my life, because now I have no idea what's real and what's not, what's fan and what's canon. When I first watched the movies back in 2020, I was definitely more, after watching, was more like into the Harry Potter like movies itself, like focused on that. But now, me here today, I don't really think, when I think Harry Potter, like now I'm thinking about Marauders. Like I'm in my Marauders era. I have been for a few months and I don't think I can get out of it. But I would rewatch, because I did rewatch it. I wouldn't sell my soul to watch it for the first time. I would do that for maybe Prisoner of Azkaban. I don't know, because that was my favorite movie first time watching, so we'll have to see if it holds up my second time watching. I will continue the Harry Potter rewatch at some point. I would like to do the second movie maybe next month if I can. Next we have The Menu. I watched this like late November, and then I watched it a week ago on New Year's because I really liked the movie. First time I watched it was with my friend, and when we got in, the movie theater was empty, so we just took videos of the empty theater. Then I left, got back, and there were some people. But back to the movie. I really enjoyed it. I will watch any and everything that Anya Taylor-Joy's in. It's funny how Harry Potter led into this because we got Voldemort, Ralph Fiennes. I've never seen him act besides Voldemort, so very cool to see another role. Also, Nicholas Hoult, only saw him in X-Men. I really like this movie. I was very hurt when we got out of the theaters the first time and my friend said it was a mid. I loved it. First time I watched it, I didn't like the ending, but after watching it for the second time, I like the movie even more now. Oh my goodness. My light just turned on. Oh, that's weird. I would sell my soul to watch this movie for the first time. I really, really liked it. Although I do admit, when watching the trailer for the first time, I thought it was about cannibalism. Let me try that again. I thought it was about cannibalism. I don't know why. Maybe just because, like, thriller at a restaurant. Next we have Enola Holmes 2. I think I prefer this one to the first movie. I was a little surprised that Sam Claflin, Mycroft, wasn't in it. I did not like his character in the movie, but, you know, I just wanted to see Sam Claflin again. But I feel like this movie we got to see more Sherlock, and also we got Moriarty. I was over the moon about that. So early in the video I said that recently I started making my mom watch Sherlock, BBC, and the last episode we watched a few days ago was the season 3 finale, and that ending, like the last couple minutes when I watched that for the first time, I was screaming. I was like, Moriarty! I was so excited. Love Andrew Scott. And then the ending, was it post-credit? Was great. I don't know, I just feel like this one was better, in my opinion. I preferred this one to the first movie. I would rewatch. Just have a line on me now from the sun. Where is that? Is that from over there? Perfect. We'll just do this the whole time. Alright, next movie. So the next movie is The Fallout. I remember earlier in the year, I think I saw it on HBO, or I just like saw it on the homepage, or, you know, I just like heard about it and added it to my watch list, and I'd been meaning to watch it for a while. And then Wednesday came out and more people were watching Jenna's stuff, and then I started seeing some more things about The Fallout, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I really liked it. I just think it was a really good movie, and I love Jenna Ortega. You know, I watched her in Stuck in the Middle years ago. That was first thing I saw her in, and then season 2 of You, and then Wednesday. But she's so talented, and Maddie Ziegler, you know, from Dance Moms, I know she's acted in some things, but I think she also did really good in this movie. And I'm very bad with my words, you can tell. Would rewatch. It's so hard for me to express, like, you know, put my emotions and thoughts into words. So usually I just say the same thing, like, it was really good. Next we have Emily the Criminal. I remember a year ago seeing Aubrey Plaza post about it, just that they were submitting it to Sundance, I believe, and I was waiting for months to watch it. And then one day I'm on Twitter and I see like a trailer, or not a trailer, but like a scene from it, and I'm like, what? And then I saw it was on Netflix, so then that night I watched it, and I don't know what I was expecting from it, but I really liked it. And the ending, it's crazy. I would rewatch. Next is My Policeman. I never read the book. When I went to Barnes & Noble like just over a week ago, and I picked up the book, but I think I put it down because I had way too many books in my hands, and somehow I was able to pack them and bring them back home. I'm looking at 4 books I got right now. I think I got like 6 or 7. How many did I have? 8? I went to New York with 2 books and I came back with 8. Don't know how that happened. But I really enjoyed the movie. It was cool, like, you know, going between the present and the past, just seeing like how different life is, and the ending. That nearly made me cry. I would rewatch. Bullet Train. I already know where I'm putting this. I'm putting it in would rewatch because I did rewatch it. I feel like I've said that multiple times in this video already. But I remember seeing it, like seeing the trailer in theaters, and I wanted to watch it in theaters, but then I never got the chance to. And it was on Netflix, and so I watched it a few weeks ago when my friend was here, and I really liked it. You know, I love Aaron Taylor Johnson, and then seeing him being partnered up with Brian Tyree Henry, who I only knew from Eternals before, but now I know he's in a ton of things, was great. Logan Lerman, I was not expecting. I have never seen anything that he's in. I have not watched or read any Percy Jackson ever. I have the box set of all the books. I plan to read them all before the series comes out next year. But like, I recognized him through the face tats, and then when they made the Percy reference, I was dying. Bad Bunny, I forgot he was in the trailer, so I forgot he was in the movie. I was like, Bad Bunny? And then having the surprising cameos, you know, Sandra, Channing. I love Channing's character in it. And Ryan was crazy. Never referred to Ryan Reynolds as just Ryan. It does not feel right. Next we have Elf. Classic Christmas movie. I've been watching this at least once every year for as long as I can remember. It's tradition. Normally we'd watch it like on Christmas Eve, Christmas, but I watched it like a few days before. And then I'd edit it, so yeah. I think I could recite a lot of it. I only watched it like 2 weeks ago. Would rewatch, have rewatched many, many times, and will continue to rewatch. Okay. So, a week and some days ago, when I was in New York, my cousin and I were in the living room trying to figure out what to watch. She was just on Netflix going through the top 10, and she decided to just choose one. The movie she picked was 7 Women and a Murder. Immediately, I realized that this movie was Italian, but English dubbed. So I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. The voice acting was wow, and everything was just wow. I'm putting this movie at no. I will never watch it again. I've been thinking about this movie a lot since I watched it, just like what did I do to deserve that? And then after that, I wanted to show her Clue. You know what? We'll do Clue next. Where is it? Here. Clue. I would sell my soul to watch this movie for the first time. Absolutely loved it. I loved that there were alternate endings at the end, 3 different versions. But after watching that atrocious murder mystery, it wasn't even a murder mystery, and it was predictable, the whole thing. And no, I won't. I was like, okay, after this, I need to show you Clue, because that is actually a good murder mystery. Love that film. And they took it off of Amazon Prime. I was like, are you kidding me? But Clue, classic game. Prefer the movie though. Cluedo. Sorry, I just remembered that the game's called Cluedo. But someone let me know as soon as it gets back on Prime or if it's on another streaming service, because I definitely want to rewatch it. I loved it. And I was just thinking about it for hours after I watched it. I was going to film a reaction to it last month. That was the plan for December. But then I think I watched it back in June or July. Next we have the Maze Runner trilogy. I've known about Maze Runner about as long as I've known about Teen Wolf, which is around 2 years. No, that's not right. Is it? It is. I think just over 2 years I've known about both things, because Dylan O'Brien is in both of them. But I would see the clip of Thomas running down the hallway, sliding under the door, from Scorch Trials? I don't know. All 3 movies kind of mesh together in my head. They don't. I just don't really remember anything about the second movie at all. I did not read the books. I've not read the books. I have the first one though, which I do want to read. Not ready for the death cure though. I knew what was going to happen in that movie to my favorite character, but that still broke my heart. The first Maze Runner movie was pretty good. I would rewatch. Maze Runner Scorch Trials. I don't really remember anything about it. I was not a fan. I like it, but it's not my favorite. Well, actually, are we putting it in eh? Because I don't know. It was very forgettable in my head. I might go back on that, but we'll see. I would rewatch The Death Cure. Some parts of it. The ending, we'll just end it a little bit early. The letter scene. I forgot about it until now. But I like seeing Gally in that movie. I feel like he got character development, because, he was a jerk in the first movie, and then he got corrupted by the thing. I don't remember the name of it, but, got, poisoned by it. Teresa. She betrayed them at the end of Scorch Trials. I remember that. And then she was just an annoying character in The Death Cure. People were asking why I hate on Teresa but like Gally. It's because when Gally was, when he killed, what's-his-face, the kid, sorry, I'm bad with names. When he did that, it wasn't of his own mind. You could see, like, you could see he wasn't himself. But everything Teresa did, she thought she was doing good. Like, she knew what she was doing the entire time. She betrayed everyone. Like, why would I like her? X-Men, Dark Phoenix. Plot-wise, I do not like this movie. What happens to Raven, I hate. I think there are a few good moments in this movie. One of them being the ending scene. I love that scene. Seeing Jean, like, get her powers was pretty cool. Like, absorbing all of that energy. I'm putting it in eh. There were a few good scenes I liked, but it's not enough to make up for everything. The sun is now in my eyes. Oh, the lighting is awful. Guys, why didn't you tell me the lighting was awful? Guess that's what I get for filming at 4:44. Oh. I'll just do it from back here. Oh, the lighting's okay now. No, it's not. Stop balling my face, like, God. Yeah, but like Quicksilver was barely in the movie. Raven, Charles felt like a whole different character. I just didn't like it. I feel like they gave up with it. Next we have Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Sorry about the lighting. I can't do anything about it. It's the sun. Blame the sun, not me. I'm just gonna keep moving. So yeah, I watched this around the time the Batman came out. Okay, we're good. When I first watched this, I gave this movie, I think, a 3 out of 5 stars. And ever since then, I've been regretting that because I think I was being very, very harsh with my ratings. Like, I would probably give it like a 3.5 or a 4 out of stars. Like, I don't know why I rated it so low. Maybe because it was long. I don't like really long movies. Like 3-hour-long movies. Like, it's not my thing. But I did enjoy it. I would rewatch. And I wish I could redo my rating. Because I've been thinking about it a few times since then. Wishing I wasn't so harsh with it. Next we have the Batman. The Batman playing Batman. Oh. Wait, did the Bills win? Bills game today. Hey, they won! Suck on that, Patriots. Sorry. I literally don't know anything about football. It's just my mom has so much Bills stuff. I have to root. Like, I feel like I have to. I have to Groot. I never watched that. The shorts. Never did. Also, I never watched the Marvel werewolf thing. I almost did, but it was longer than I thought it was, so then I just didn't. Back to the Batman, though. I really like this movie. A few months prior, I was watching Gotham, which is a show I absolutely love. Getting to see, like, the origins of some of, the most popular, the craziest DC characters was really cool to see. So I always like seeing different versions of stuff. So, with this, there's the Batman played by Robert Pattinson. There's some names, like celebrity names, where you have to say first and last name, because if you just say their first name, it sounds weird. Like Zendaya, it's fine, because no one calls her Zendaya Coleman. But seeing a different version of some characters that I love from Gotham, Penguin, Riddler, Selena Kyle, Gordon, seeing, what's-his-face, who plays Tim Drake in Titans. Speaking of, I know now that I forgot to add Titans to the tier list for shows. I don't know how it wasn't on my list. But he was in the beginning of Batman. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. Also the Alpha Twins from Teen Wolf. But yeah, going into it, I was expecting to like it, but it was 3 hours, so I was like, how am I gonna sit through this? But I was totally in tune for like the whole 3 hours. I was like just so into it. I would sell my soul to watch this movie for the first time. Absolutely loved it. The thing with all these movies is I've only watched them once or twice, because I don't want to rewatch it over and over again, because I don't want it to lose its value. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's some movies that I just can't watch. Like, I don't want to rewatch it, because I just want to like keep it perfect in my head. Because maybe if I rewatch, I'm like, oh, maybe it's not as good as I thought it was, Next we have Hunger Games. I didn't really know much about Hunger Games going into it. I knew there was a character called Peeta. Katniss is an archer. And it was fight to the death. I think that's pretty much what I knew going into it. I thought the first movie was okay, and I thought Catching Fire, we're not going to talk about Catching Fire yet, I'm getting ahead of myself. The first one I thought was good. Jack Quaid's in it. I didn't know who he was until I started watching The Boys. Then looking back, he killed Rue. You know, the first movie I would rewatch, but Catching Fire, I would sell my soul to watch this movie for the first time. I don't know what was in the water in District 12. I don't know where I was going with that. But I just liked Catching Fire better. Like, I know in the first movie, I wasn't really a fan of Peta, just because I feel like he didn't really add much. I made a joke about Gale being my favorite character, even though he said like 2 lines in it, and everyone thought I was serious. So I think I've learned a little bit to dial back my sarcasm. I don't think so, actually. Now that I'm saying that out loud, I don't think that's right. But I liked Peta a lot more in Catching Fire. I still need to watch the other 2 movies, which I plan to watch in the next couple of months, because it's been almost a year since I watched the first movie. Time is fucking weird, let me tell you. It's been almost a year since I watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's been almost 4 months since I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League, but that reaction has not been edited yet. It will be the first movie reaction to go up, though. It will. That's my priority after this video, also after episode 3 of Trial and Error. Since watching Catching Fire, I have seen some spoilers for Mockingjay, unfortunately. So I'm kind of scared going into it, but also excited. I do have the Hunger Games books that I will read once I finish all the movies. Next we have Logan. Before watching and even after watching, I'd only heard really good things about this movie. Very different from, you know, the other Marvel stuff, X-Men stuff. It was definitely a lot more separate, and it was just an amazing thing to watch. Like, I can't put it into words. I did know how it would end. I feel like for most of these, I know, like, how it ends or, like, really big parts of it. I would sell my soul to watch this movie for the first time. Whoops. Next we have The Adam Project. Adam Project was a fun movie. Lots of well-known names in it. Ryan, Mark, Jennifer, not that Jennifer, the other Jennifer, Garner, who else was in it? Zoe, and probably other people I just not thinking of yet. I thought it was a good movie. You know, Walker really is Ryan Reynolds. He's young Ryan Reynolds. I think I was seeing like some of the little interview clips before I saw the movie. I would rewatch. Next up is Wonder Woman. I watched it for the first time when it came out in theaters for, you know, it was a friend's birthday. I knew nothing about DC then, because like I said earlier in the video, until a few years ago, I didn't know there was Marvel DC, you know, I thought it was like one and the same, and just, I didn't know the backstory of the characters. I knew the Teen Titans, and then, you know, also Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Hulk, Wonder Woman, Batwoman, Batgirl. I don't think I knew Batwoman, I knew Batgirl. Then I rewatched it early 2022, and I remembered very little from, you know, first watch. I know the second one's bad. I haven't watched it, but people have said the second one's bad. I shouldn't say I know it's bad. Like, I've heard people say it's bad. There's nothing really memorable about it that I can think of. Like, I really don't remember much about it, and that's usually because I've buried it, because I don't want it in the forefront of my mind. Next up is Free Guy. I remember I wanted to see this when it came out in theaters, and then, you know, time slipped away, and then I learned Joe Keery was in it, and I was like, I have to watch. I enjoyed it. I think it's a really cool concept, and I think the graphics was amazing. Wasn't expecting Taika Waititi in it. I would rewatch, and I know it's getting a sequel, so I'm curious to see how that's gonna go. You know, I feel a recurring pattern. You know, the Ryan Reynolds movies getting sequels, Red Notice, Free Guy. When's the Green Lantern sequel coming? I've not seen Green Lantern, but I want to. People have said it's bad. I want to watch it because of that. Next up is Fresh. No, I thought the menu was about cannibalism. Here we have Fresh, starring Sebastian Stan, an actor. Would I just stop talking and just... Yeah, starring Sebastian and Daisy. It was very crazy. And the fact that, like, it wasn't until half an hour in when we got, like, the like, title sequence, I feel so dumb right now. I swear, whenever I'm on camera, like, the brain cells just, like, go off camera. I've been sitting in silence for a while. I don't know what else to add to what I was saying. I'm gonna put it in, I like it, but it's not my favorite. Next up, we have Deadpool. I reacted to this movie in April, and it is currently my most popular public video on my channel. You can go check out my reaction to it. I probably knew, like, some scenes from both movies beforehand, but I really just knew more about the character itself rather than the movie, so I was interested to see what the hype was about, and it did not disappoint. I enjoyed both movies. Deadpool 2 also. Would rewatch both of them. Next up, we have the masterpiece of the year, the best movie of 2022, Morbius. And of course, we're waiting for the highly anticipated sequel, Morbius 2. It's Morbin time. This movie, I don't really know what was happening. Next, I'm kidding. It was funny. Not intentionally funny, but it was funny at some points. I'm still confused about the dancing scene. I don't know, like, why that was the thing. I never watched Doctor Who, so I didn't know who Matt Smith was before. And I'm just like, Matt, why were you in this movie? Doctor Who is on my watch list for this year, though. Yesterday, I just started Once Upon a Time. Just watched episode 7. And I'm a little heartbroken right now. It's probably why the brain cells are gone. They left with my tears. Also, I finished Treason. And watched Kaleidoscope, but I guess you'll have to wait for my opinion on that till 2024, so... Back to Morbius. Honestly, I would rewatch. I don't think I'll put it up in would rewatch, but I would rewatch it. I like it, but it's not my favorite. So, like, it's not going in would rewatch because I feel like that's more for... Actually, you know what? I have Twilight up there. But Twilight... You know what? I'm putting Morbius up in would rewatch. Because it was iconic. You know, all the Morbin jokes. Morbius hit more $1 billion in the box office. Morbius jokes were amazing. Next we have The Bubble. I watched this because Karen Gillan's in it. I love her. I remember when she was posting about it, it was first for a movie called Cliff Beast 6, and I checked her IMDb and I didn't see it, but I did see that The Bubble was listed, but I didn't connect the two, because I was just like, oh, maybe it's just not on IMDb. And then it was like an April Fool's thing, but I just watched it because I wanted to, and I know it was supposed to be like satire and not good, but I wouldn't rewatch it. That was the first thing I saw Pedro Pascal in, and whoever else is in that movie. Keegan-Michael Key. I never watched Key and Peele. No. Okay, we'll move The Bubble up to eh. Next up, we have Star Wars. The original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. First we have A New Hope, the first Star Wars movie. A classic. I love the cinematography for it, and I just think that the universe it's created is crazy. You know, I haven't watched the newer stuff yet. The Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, the other stuff that's coming out, I've not, you know. But I'm curious about it. I will be watching the sequel trilogy either this month or next month, hopefully. I think my ranking was first Empire Strikes Back 2nd, A New Hope 3rd, Revenge of the Sith 4th, Return of the Jedi 5th, Attack of the Clones 6th, Phantom Menace. Oh my god, look at me. Star Wars 1977. I would rewatch. It's just, you know, the starting point for, like, so much. Like, this movie changed everything. You know what? No. I would sell my soul to watch this for the first time. It's a life changer. Next to A New Hope, we're putting The Empire Strikes Back. Then Return of the Jedi, would rewatch. Phantom Menace, eh. it was just very hard to watch. Like, I kept zoning out during that movie. It was very difficult to follow along. Attack of the Clones, sand. Which movie has the sand comment? That's a life changer. Star Wars sand. He said it in Attack of the Clones? Okay. I like it, but it's not my favorite. If the sand comment was in a different movie, I'd probably move it down, but it just boosted it up so much. Revenge of the Sith. I would tell myself to watch this for the first time. I think about that movie pretty often. It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them. You were meant to bring balance to the Force, not darkness. I hate you. You were the chosen one. It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them. Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness. I hate you. Classic. Next we have Multiverse of Madness. So I watched this movie twice. First time in theaters, second like a month after when it came out on Disney+. First time watching it, I did actually enjoy it. But then the second time when I rewatched it, I think my rating went down like half a star or a full star. I just felt like it was so rushed and they needed to do more, definitely. I like it, but it's not my favorite. Next up, we have The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones. I never read the City of Bones books. I just watched Shadowhunters. That was all my knowledge there. So while watching this movie, I was like kind of comparing it to the show in my head, you know, like the characters and just the story. Jamie Campbell Bower, when watching him in Stranger Things, I was like, he's so familiar. But I looked through IMDb, I've never seen anything he was in, so I'm just like, why is he so familiar? So that was really the reason I wanted to watch this, also because people were starting to watch it because it was after Stranger Things Volume 1 came out. The reason I prefer TV shows to movies is just because it has more time to develop things, which does, you know, which can make shows have filler episodes, but like it allows for more world building, which wasn't really a thing in this movie. I don't know. I did not like Alex's character in this movie. Isabel, I don't even remember her. Not Jason. Simon? Robert Sheehan. He was Simon. Dude, I forgot about that. I just wasn't a fan of a lot of the characters because they just didn't, I didn't feel like I could connect to them, or like they just felt like placeholders. Like they felt like they were just there, not really having a purpose. And I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be a sequel, but there wasn't, which means that there were things left unresolved, which I didn't like. Like, if there was a sequel and they did, you know, bring up things from this movie and answer them, then I would be less harsh about this rating. But I'm putting it in eh. We're on the last row of movies now. Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War. I watched the first Justice League Dark year before, 2021, and I enjoyed that. But this movie, I had no idea what was going on. Like, it was just so crazy, and the things that happened, the deaths that occurred, I was like, what? Like, I didn't know how to feel, I didn't know what to think, and it was just so fun not knowing what was happening. I was upset because, you know, Zatanna, but also I'm happy because Constantine, I love Matt Ryan as Constantine. Sucks that, you know, he's not him anymore. But Apocalypse War, I would sell my soul to watch this movie for the first time. Like, to go into it blind again, not knowing anything. My favorite movie I watched this year, and maybe ever, I need to grab something before I continue with this. It was said that you would destroy the Sith. This next movie, I decided to watch a few months ago because it contained, you know, some of my favorite DC characters, and one of them being voiced by an actor I really like, that actor being Jensen Ackles, and the movie being Batman Under the Red Hood. I absolutely fell in love with this movie as soon as I watched it. Like, at first I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars because at that point in time, I just wasn't giving anything 5 out of 5 unless had reason to believe it was perfect, but then later I changed it to 5 because I could not stop thinking about it. I was like, you know what, it is a 5 out of 5 to me. So that's when I started being a lot more relaxed about my ratings. The day after watching that movie, I went to Barnes & Noble and I bought this. And I didn't read it until a few months later because, I don't know, but I loved this too. Gave it a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. And in this, wait, Ollie's in this? Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, Superman. I'm looking for my girlo. Wait, the scene that was like in the graphic novel and also the movie. But why on God's earth is he still alive? I thought killing me, that I'd be the last person you'd ever let him hurt. I'm not talking about killing Cobblepot and Scarecrow or Clayface, not Riddler or Dent. I'm talking about him, just him, and doing it because he took me away from you. Oh, there she is. I scared myself. There she is though. Zatanna. But I wanted to watch more things that Nightwing was in because, you know, there's Titans, but I really hadn't watched anything else. And Batman Under the Red Hood, I knew Nightwing was in it, and I knew Jensen Ackles voiced Red Hood, so I wanted to watch it. And I just fell in love with it, and I think about it on at least a weekly basis. Just, I've been wanting to rewatch it multiple times, but like I'm also scared, like what if it doesn't live up to my expectations, but I'm sure it will. I think I like this better than the movie because it has like some more characters in it. Like both were so good. And this is why I would sell my soul to watch this movie for the first time. It's going in the front because it's my top movie as of now. Has been for like the last 6 months. I don't know if that's going to change my mind. Probably at some point, but I love it so much. Words can't express my love for Batman Under the Red Hood. I could spend hours talking about Batman Under the Red Hood. Fortunately, I've spent like 3.5 hours talking in this video so far, and we still have a few more to go, so let's get on with it. I'm such in a good mood after talking about Batman and the Red Hood. I don't want to talk about this next movie yet. So we're gonna skip ahead to Top Gun Maverick. Now, I wanted to watch the first Top Gun movie before watching this one, but I really didn't get the chance to because it was a very last minute thing. It was a few months ago. We were in New York. We were supposed to do one thing, but our plans changed, so we spontaneously went to the movies and watched Top Gun Maverick. So, you know, I didn't really have time to watch the other one beforehand, but luckily I knew, you know, what happened to Goose before. Otherwise, I would have been disappointed about getting a bit spoiled. But I really liked the movie. You know, the only thing I knew about it was that Miles Teller was in it. You know, and then there's the beach scene with I Ain't Worried by One Republic. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would rewatch. It was really good. We're still gonna skip that movie for now. I just don't want to talk about it. Next we'll go with Spree. I probably watched this shortly after Free Guy, because sometimes, you know, I just latch onto some actors and then watch a couple of their movies or shows. I had been wanting to watch this for a while though. Like, now I heard about it, but I just never got around to watching it. It's very interesting, you know. Was he running over someone while the Gummy Bear song was playing? The ending, I would rewatch. I'm trying to find different words in my vocabulary besides really good. It was superb. It was delectable. It was delightful. I say, about a guy murdering people. Okay. It was an interesting watch. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to avoid this next movie forever. You know, there's like 10 left in the list, so. You know, I love the Teen Titans, so I hate that the name is attached to the following movie. Teen Titans, The Judas Contract. I'm putting it in no. I did not like this movie. I did not enjoy it. I don't want to talk about it. There was just like some things that made me uncomfortable and which kind of ruined the entire experience for me. And besides like those characters, I don't really remember anything else about the movie. Like, I've just wiped it all out. Continuing with animated DC movies, we have Injustice, which was interesting to see, you know, evil Superman, like Superman when he lost Lois Lane. I believe that's how it went. I watched, like, my brain is not big. Like, I can recite episode numbers for shows, but I can't remember, like, basic plot lines for some movies. Injustice, because what was going on with Nightwing? What did you do to him? How? Like, what the heck is that? What is that? They did my boy so dirty. Next movie, Last Night in Soho. I like it, but it's not my favorite. Watched it because Anya Taylor-Joy's in it. Love her. It was a very interesting concept. It didn't really, like, feel too special to me. Like, I probably would. I could watch it. I don't know if I would, but yeah. Next up, Thor Love and Thunder, compared to Thor Ragnarok, was definitely a downgrade, you know? It leaned too much into the silly goofiness and just didn't... It felt very forced, and, you know, for a god butcher, he only killed one guy. Like, I liked the scene with, like, the Guardians at the beginning of the movie. I'm gonna put it in, I like it, but it's not my favorite. Next up is Death on the Nile. I just added it to my watch list on HBO, downloaded it to watch on the movie. I downloaded it to watch on the plane. I blocked out a lot of it because I just didn't care for it. If I don't really care about things, or, like, things don't interest me, like, they just won't stick in my head. This movie is going in It was predictable, it wasn't anything special. 5 more left. Next we have Not Okay. For months before the movie came out, I saw lots of TikToks from Reese doing, like, little things with the cast and behind the scenes. It was very, I gotta stop using the same words. It was a unique thing to see. Someone craving attention so bad that they pretend that they were in this, you know, this terrorist attack and profit off of it. I'm glad that at the end she didn't get, like, a redemption, you know? I like it, but it's not my favorite. Next up we have The Gray Man. Chris Evans had a mustache, so I was very curious. I don't remember the plot of this movie at all. I remember, like, a couple things from it. I would probably rewatch it. I think I gave it a good rating. I enjoyed it like I would any other spy type action movie. Next up is Do Revenge, very popular movie that came out on Netflix this year, starring Maya Hawke and Camila Mendes. I wasn't expecting, you know, that plot twist, but I feel like they got over it way too quickly, you know, because she got into a car, like, I forget the characters' names. Eleanor got Drea into a car crash and, like, manipulated a lot of things, but then by the end they were all cool. I feel like they just went past that way too quickly. I loved the Sophie Turner scene. I don't do cocaine!
I don't know what it looks like!
I like it, but it's not my favorite. Next up is Jennifer's Body. I had seen some scenes, some clips over a couple of years. I'd been interested in you know, what the plot was, because I knew, like, you're killing people. No, I'm killing boys. Boys are just placeholders. They come and they go. And she was like a demon eating boys. That was really all I knew. While watching, learning that the writer of the movie is the same as the one for the CW Powerpuff series made a lot of sense and definitely influenced my rating. And it's influencing my rating again. I like it, but it's not my favorite. Because I know it was 2009. But the fact that the writer still writes the same things after over a decade is... But we are on the last movie. The one that is my long-awaited reaction, which will be the next movie reaction. Sometime this month. Have you guessed it? Zack Snyder's Justice League. Originally, I was supposed to watch that in, like, March or April, and then June, July, and I didn't watch it till mid-September. Then while filming, I had difficulties. I lost, like, half the footage of my screen recording, so I was trying to recover it for days and days, and I couldn't, so I re-recorded the screen recording for the first half of the movie. Like the first hour and a half, which is essentially half. But it's 7.5 hours of footage, so it's going to take a while to edit, but I will try to get it up as soon as I can. But regarding the movie, I mean, you can see my rating on Letterboxd. I'm not going to voice my opinions on it because you'll just have to watch the reaction video when that comes out in a week or two or whenever it does. I'm putting Zack Snyder's Justice League in what a rewatch. Not going to say anything more on that. I'm going to go through the movies, make sure it's all good. I feel like that's good. You know what? We'll stick with it. This is my final tier list ranking for all the movies I watched in 2022. And with that concludes the ranking portion of this video, which means time to do the outro. Thank you guys for watching this video and also sticking with me in 2022. It was a very difficult year, both on and off camera. Hopefully 2023 will be better. I plan to watch a lot more, but also I'm trying not to overcommit myself. So I'm going to try to do show reactions every other week. I will definitely be getting Zack Snyder's Justice League reaction up sometime this month. I have other movie reactions I want to do, but they may be pushed back. Also, I want to focus on getting episode 3 of Trial and Error up as soon as I can. I have a lot planned for this year, so I'm super excited and I hope you guys will stay along for the journey. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Let me know your opinions on these shows and movies in the comments. Everyone can have their own opinions, so don't hate on mine or others. Alright, Happy New Year, and I will see you guys with the next video. Bye! Can't talk, I'm editing. True.